What's up, guys, and welcome back to another how-to video from White Trash Racing. Today I'm going to try to keep this really quick and simple. This is a how-to video on how to remove the engine from your Hyundai Veloster. This is for the turbo version, but it is very similar to the non-turbo version. It is actually even easier to remove the non-turbo version. So today we have a 2019. This process is going to be pretty similar for all of the Velosters. So like I said, I'm going to keep this video short and simple. I've already dug into it a little bit. I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you how to get to where I'm at, and then we're going to start video from here, because this is really where the hard part, it's really not very hard at all, but this is where the actual technical parts come in. That's when I'm going to inform you what to do, the quickest way, and why you shouldn't do it the other way that you're going to see other people on YouTube doing it. And I'm going to tell you the exact reason why you shouldn't do that here in just a second. So you're definitely not going to drop that subframe. That is not going to work out very well for you guys. It's better to take the motor out the top, and I'm going to tell you why here in a second. So first thing you're going to do is you just want to get everything removed from up top here. What you want to do is you're going to have your intake. You're going to take the intake off first. Then you're going to have your battery. You're going to disconnect your battery. Then you're going to have the battery tray. You're going to remove the battery tray. Then you're going to disconnect your ECU. You actually might need to disconnect the ECU before you disconnect the battery tray. I think that actually did happen first. So you take out the ECU, then you take out the battery tray. After that, you're going to have a couple of options. I would probably just recommend you start with just draining the coolant. Get the car jacked up, drain the coolant, either remove the lower radiator hose or the drain plug on the bottom of the radiator. Or you can just remove a radiator hose, any one of them, and just let it drain into a bucket down below, whatever works out for you. After you get the coolant drained, you're going to want to start disconnecting your wiring harness. So just start disconnecting all the plugs that go from this top harness here on the engine. And it's kind of a little bit tedious of a process. You're going to have to remove a few things. You'll have to remove this intake, the boost pipe that comes from the intercooler to your intake. You're going to want to remove that. That's going to allow you more access to the wiring harness. You're going to remove this radiator hose right here. That's going to allow you to get some more room to the harness. You're going to want to disconnect your shift linkages right here. Those are just a quick little pin that comes out the side. And then in order to get the shift linkage out from the holder, you just pull up on it. Wiggle up on it. If it still won't come, there's a couple little tabs right. Let's zoom in on that real quick. If you see those little tabs right there, that little tab and that little tab, they look like a triangle. You're going to need to push those in with the screwdriver while you're pulling up. Just get a little screwdriver and that'll allow those to release. But most of the time you can get them to come up without doing that. Okay, we're already getting into 3 minutes here. So now we need to, the next thing, remove the tires. You can drain your engine oil if you like. That's optional. Remove the tires. Disconnect these two bolts on your ABS sensor here. You don't want that to get ripped off because we're about to take the axles out. Then you're going to come under here and you're going to disconnect your lower ball joint. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be able to take this spindle, pull it over, and remove those axles. So I'm going to do that right now, and then we're going to keep going. All right, and this ball joint, you want to get a little pry bar under it while you tap on the side of the thing right there, on the side of the spindle with the ball peen hammer, and that thing will pop right loose. Or you can do it however you like, but this is the fastest and easiest way to do it. It doesn't damage anything. All right, guys, I just removed the axles. Like I said, I popped the ball joints and I lifted this up off of the ball joint. Well, actually what I did was I pushed the arm down and then I pulled this over enough in order to get the CV axle out, I pushed it out that way and pulled the CV axle over here. Then on each side, you need to get in there with a pry bar like this. You need to get yourself a pry bar like that, and you get in here behind the axle, between the axle and the its mating surface, and you pop it out. On that side, it's a little bit tricky. I actually had to turn my thing around this way, but regardless, you just get behind the axle. Check it out. You want to get physically right here. You want to get right there and pop the axle out. It's just this little clip that holds them in. They pop out really easily. I don't recommend pulling on the axle. That's not a good idea. You could tear the boot, so don't pull it out. You want to pry it out. All right, next you need to get underneath here, and you need to remove the 2 bolts that hold your catalytic converter to your downpipe. They are 18 millimeter. There's one right there, and there's one right there. Next, you're going to want to remove your AC compressor. In order to remove that, you need to come up here, take the alternator loose, push the alternator back, and then the belt will be able to come off. Once you get the belt off, you can come underneath, take out the 4 12 millimeter bolts that hold the AC pump on, and it'll come and drop down like this. And I would just leave it connected. Don't disconnect your AC lines, because then you'll have to recharge the air conditioning. All right, really quickly, this is optional, but the more things you move out of the way, the easier it will be, the less chance you have of damaging an expensive wiring harness. I decided to remove the wiring harness. I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. Like I said, we already unplugged everything, but you might notice it's still connected over here. If you pop this fuse box off, you can disconnect this wiring harness right here with these 2 bolts. They're these 210s, so that you can get this thing and leave that on the engine, right? And then the other wiring harness is going to be right here. You're going to go ahead and there's a little tab right here for this one. You push it and rock it up, and it's like a cam lever. It pulls that one out for you. This one has a little tab right here. You push that white tab in, pull up on that. Then right here, there's one more tab on this that holds the wiring harness in. You have to take and push this tab over like that. Once you push this tab right here over that way, it will release this wiring harness. Then you're going to go ahead and take these 2 10 millimeters right here, and you're going to unplug the plug from right here, and you'll be able to remove that whole entire wiring harness out of here if you already took off that 10 millimeter that holds it on right there. So once you remove that, then you're going to have a lot more room to access the engine bay and get the engine to come straight out. All right, next you're going to need to disconnect your clutch line. In order to do that, there's this little clip on the bottom right there. You see that little clip? So you're going to want to stick a flathead right here, and you're going to want to pop that clip out. And when that clip comes out, you'll be able to disconnect the clutch. You'll be able to just pull it this way. You pull this way, wiggle it, twist it a little bit. Don't go like that. Just twist it and wiggle it a little bit this way, in and out. Because if you go like that, you're likely to snap that plastic off there, and then it's either going to leak all the fluid out, or you can use something to squeeze the line and stop that from happening. All right, now we're going to put a strap on it. You got a hook point there and a hook point back here. Strap that thing up, lift the motor out, and that's pretty much it. So we'll start doing that now. All right, guys, that's that. So when you get this motor mount disconnected, there's a little cover right here. You can unbolt the 2 bolts. Careful that you have the motor supported, that way it doesn't drop down. But once you get the motor mounts disconnected on that side and this side, and you get it up, I did think I forgot to mention, you do need to unbolt this one motor mount on the bottom right there. You'll see it's just 2 bolts here and 4 bolts up into the engine. That one I would have done a little bit ago. I forgot to mention that. But once you get the motor up a little bit, or before you do that, you can, if you want to, attempt to get down in there with the wrench a little bit harder. But you're going to need to remove this downpipe. And in order to remove that downpipe, I removed the intake and then this cover, the heat shield, and then it was just 3 bolts.
one on the bottom, and then one on the right here and one on the back, kind of. You can get them all from right here if you have like a swivel extension or something. This one on top you can get to a straight. That one you can get to a straight. The one on the bottom needs like a swivel extension. So I popped those all off with the impact, and then once I took that downpipe out with the cat in it, I was able to take the motor straight up. Super easy, it came right out. So that's how you do it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this helps you guys out, like the video. If you got something to say, if I did it wrong or I did it right, comment down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, or want to see some other videos like we have on the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's up to you. I'll see you guys in the next one.